How you doing, folks? Wanted to bring the OM5 back out to a forest preserve and do some couple reasons. Wanted to do some more Cine 4K video in this wide-angle cinema mode, and also, pardon the sun there, it's really bright. I did bring an ND filter. I also wanted to do a little comparison with some still shots between the 75 to 100. I have it on my EM1 Mark II, and the 14 to 150, which is the lens that we've been talking about a little bit lately. So this 14 to 150 may be sharper, but we're going to do some comparison shots. Probably just get a few squirrels and birds and see what we can find. But either way, I'm curious to know the results. See that guy right there? If he'll stay still long enough, we'll do a still shot on both lenses and do a comparison. So one thing, I did get a couple of still shots. I'll throw them up on the screen. But one thing I did notice was the older EM1 Mark II with the bigger lens had a little bit more difficult time distinguishing the bird from the branch. And the OM5 Mark II did a really good job with it. All right, so lens-wise, one thing that you can do with the 14 to 150 lens that obviously you cannot do with the 75 to 300 is a nice wide shot like this of the prairie. So obviously the lenses serve different purposes, but again, my curiosity was just which one's sharper. They both have kind of a reputation for being a little bit unsharp at their higher zooms. All right, while we're waiting for some birds to make an appearance here, we'll take a shot of these wildflowers, do a couple of still shots. I'll do one with the lens we're on now, the 14 to 150, and then one with the 75 to 300. And both of those shots were zoomed in all the way to give you a look at the long end of these lenses. This one being the 150 millimeters top end, and the other one 300. There's a robin, American robin, blessing us with his presence or her presence. I don't know how you know the difference. A couple of shots of them, one with each lens. You gonna talk some more? There you go. All right, let's do a couple of comparisons here. Let's move this up to about 75 millimeters so we can get an even comparison on this one. So there we're right about 75. We're going to do a couple of landscape shots at the same focal length. The still shots that we're doing today, shooting them at unless I need to raise it for a bird, which I haven't had to yet, but 1/400th of a second for a shutter speed, f8 aperture, and just letting the camera decide the ISO. So a couple of, is that geese? Yeah, Canadian geese. All right, I had to come back and get in the car. It's a little bit chilly out here. It's 54 degrees, a little bit of a breeze. So, and I had shorts on for some reason. Maybe because it's May and I thought it was supposed to be warmer outside. But first glance here, as I'm back in the car, looking at some of them on the back of the camera, it's a little bit difficult to tell because the EM1 Mark II is 10 years old this year as far as when it was released. So its display, its LCD is not nearly as good a quality as the OM5 Mark II, which was released in 2025. And so we're comparing apples and oranges here, but my real intent was to compare the two lenses. But but my point is looking at the screen, it's a little bit difficult to see which ones are sharper. But what I do believe is the ones on the newer lens, being the 14-150 Mark II and the newer camera, obviously the OM5 Mark II, noticeably sharper. The newer camera is obviously giving us a little bit less noise. It's much snappier on the autofocus and much more selective. I did notice earlier that the EM1 Mark II is having difficulty discerning between like the branch and the bird, whereas the OM1 Mark II, I'm sorry, the newer camera, really didn't have an issue with that. So at least on today's outing. That being the case, I love the ergonomics of the EM1 Mark II. It's more of a camera, it's beefier. The other thing you got to consider is it's a flagship professional camera. It was 10 years ago anyway. Two card slots in the end here. So I mean, it was designed for professional photographers, whereas the OM5 Mark II, mixing up my numbers here, the OM5 Mark II is more of a beginner / intermediate, single card slot, smaller, not nearly as beefy and strong, I guess, for lack of a better word. They're both weather sealed, but the OM5 Mark II actually has better weather sealing than the EM1 Mark II. So that being the case, leave your comments down below. Let me know which lens you think did a better job. My initial thoughts are, and I may change those ideas, but my initial thoughts are that this 14-150 lens is a pretty good option for an all-in-one if you just want to take one lens out. It did a really good job with like a landscape shot. 150 is not quite long enough to do a lot of birding, but you did a little bit of birding at 150 millimeters, and it's sharper than that whole 75-300, I do believe. So let me know your thoughts. Appreciate you watching. See you on the next video. Thanks.